Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening. I'm your host, Sir Stephen Topham at the third at your service. Now we're going to be talking about this seriously because this is nearly like 3 or 4 topics here in one bucket to explain exactly why we exist and why and how, where and when, department-wise, etc. It goes back in time, past tense if you like to call it correctly. It's reality, right? We talk about reality. Let's get real, shall we? You're supposed to have your cup of tea and coffee while we're listening to a podcast like this. So please be aware you need that to get everything back on track. So like you're dealing with reality, right? Which is what you're seeing is what you're getting, right? Fact. Reality can come from different angles, different points of views. A lot of real facts coming through, right? Like I said, my waist has a lot more power than any money you can afford. Right? So I'm not going to go into detail with that. I'm trying to prove a point there. You see, reality of everything has to have a little bit of unfoldment, right? Each day counts. Every day is a special day for a lot of my race, especially myself included. Right? A lot of people can't put reality and and other pieces together because they couldn't put it together, right? Reality is what you're doing right from wrong, wrong from right, vice versa, right? Every department in the UK fucks up now and then, alright? I get that. But in reality, that's your mistake. That's your slip up. Bing, bada, boom. Right? Reality is like when somebody falls, trips, having memory problems, having health issues, blah blah blah, going down the line. Then we all fuck up with the NHS issue because the NHS can't always fully understand everything, right? They have got qualifications under their belts as much as I have got it. Why? I'm not going to lie on that because that's reality, right? I understand where they're trying to come from, and I'm trying to cut the BS out and get straight to the point with everything. Right? Reality of what you see is what you're getting, and what's unfolding that's in truth is logic, right? When people do something for you, you're spitting them in the face, dead or alive, doesn't matter. You're pushing your boat a bit too far in reality. When it all's in reality, you're seeing what's unfolded in truth, in logic and respect. But people realise that from very long time ago, and they've written what you would thought it was fiction is actually reality. So what they do is they it's like all the artists, all the copyright holders, they all screwed because it's under my belt, right? You can't just say, "Oh, we broke copyright for this." No, it won't work with me, Wish Wash. Right? It's reality that we're dealing with of it. All right. When it comes to fiction, a lot of it may not be fiction because there's a lot of things unfolding in truth, in reality. So people can't work out from Tom, Dick, or Harry to work it all out. So when reality goes forward, 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 as it does, the past tense catches up with you. Bang! Like a bullet, like a bang. Right? You've got somebody like myself who is realistic. Right? That's reality. But then you got to work out shit. Sometimes a lot of people drop their coffees or teas on the plate or whatever, and they're thinking what they're hearing is what's coming out of my mouth. I said, look, reality is a big key of it, right? You're seeing it unfold with your own eyes and ears, right? Then you realise, oh crap, yeah, you might feel like you've done something wrong. Not at the moment, but you could do. You could slip up, and you may make a mistake, even the simplest ones. Right, I get it, but I'm not against anyone. This is reality of everything that you're seeing from what was told in the past is caught up with you. Right, you read the Thomas the Tank books as example. That's just a prime example. But they were letting you know everything, they're telling you everything, and what you do is, then you thought it was all of this. It's reality in the book, right? You know, when things are put in a book, sometimes a lot of reality goes into it. Right? You can't expose that type of charm because that charm is everything, right? Reality is in the book. You can't destroy the book because it's reality. Right? It's unfolded in truth, logic, and respect. When it's told in respect for you, reality always catches up with you. Right? When you are kids and when you're adults, they're two separate categories. I get it, right? But when they hear the book, they see Thomas or Edward or Henry or Gordon or James, Percy, Toby, Duck, and all the other Rangers, then you're adding up saying they are realistic. They are reality of people, different people who I cannot name. Right? Then more got added because it got someone took on the book to the franchise, which they did. That's reality. But then you have to realistically put it in chain of command. Ding ding dong forward forward forward. Bang. That's reality of the fiction. So when you tell your kids of Thomas and Tank and Friends, they're listening to the fiction, but they're actually listening to the reality of it. This is where reality and fiction combine together as one, because if we break that, that's your death on the playing field. It's not a joke. Right? Reality and fiction are combined. Right? Because there's a lot of facts in there that you can't explain by yourself because you can't realise what shit, crap. A lot of you may say that because it's not a laughing matter. But I'm trying to be authentic on reality because reality will always catch up with the books all the time, right? When the books are written in the past, right, they told everybody what's happening in the future. Normally it doesn't happen that way, but it did. It played out the way the book was unfolded for you. It was a gift, but at the same time, you got to respect it. So when it happens is they tell you the fiction side of it, which is true, then they tell you exactly what you're gonna do in your life. Right before you even jump off the cliff and say, I'm dying, go to bed, go to hell, go to sea and die. Right? No, 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 no. We're not gonna do that with you. Because that's what they want you to think. So reality comes first before fiction. But in this case, this type, Thomas and Friends in general, is fiction and reality combined together. Why? Because we're adding the other half in. Right? Then the fiction of Thomas and Tank of the first half of the book, which I paid a lot of money for, which I add, which is my life as well. Then it goes. Then you listen to the stories, you read it, and that. What happens is it's real life. So you see it in reality. You're seeing it happen. You hear my voice. You do everything, and then you're thinking, crap. Yeah, then you crap your pants or something like that. Very simplified, right? So reality, to get the reality, you have to watch the fiction. Normally it's the other way around, but for the children, obviously. But in reality, the adults get the reality version of it. This is why we have accidents, occurrences, rules and regulations, rules of engagement, everything. It's all connected with our friends, our connections, our family, our friends, all of it, all in one bucket. So reality comes first, then it goes into fiction, then it goes back to reality. Because why? Because it has something has to unfold the other half, right? So the fiction part of Thomas the Tank is still available for kids to listen to, but the reality version is still playing in front of you. So this is where the bit of the hard part. Then the people that are connected like me, like the Hats, the real true Hat family, we are legends. We're not myths yet, obviously. We are legends and reality. Right? There's two protocols. But then we get back to reality. Reality is what you're seeing. Right? Fiction is what has been told to the kids in general, right? But then it becomes reality for them in the future, and they've got to go through all the same procedure, which is true. But then you have to realise why have two halves become a whole. Think about it. Right? I'm giving you a fact. This is reality as it is in fiction. You have it both one and the same as the whole. Why? Right, I'll give you the answers for this, right? Audrey wrote the books, right? We all understand that. That's question one, answered one. Right? Question two. Why is it all based around LMS and the Great Western and the L and the R? Work around that. Then you've got to work around it in your head and work out why is that? There's what's the world that spins so well? So what happens when I told you to look upside down and look south instead of north? It clicked, didn't it, in your heads and realised, oh, you were saying WTF. Right? The reality, so all the fiction is actually reality. So now you've got your third gen hat. Now you've got to let my story continue as normal, but it's going to take a little bit more time because fiction is still reality. The fiction gets told in ahead of the schedule. And a lot of people make slip ups, mistakes, all of it in one bucket. I said, did you know how many screw ups you made since you booted me out of the Norfolk Rugby? A lot. I catch people out. Right? So while you got a fiction of reality, right, when Audrey wrote the books, he was basing it on reality. Right? Okay. Let me give you another example of this, right? I'm making it a self-aware system for you, right? My family is dying, just slowly. I don't want to be blunt, but that's reality of it, right? There's only one hope left. Right? I'm not blaming about reality of the fiction. It's not dying. It's just repeating loop somewhere down the line where it's going to connect two people together to get the Hatt family back on track, get everything back on track, save the world, and get the other half in, the Adam Taylor department. I already know who it's linked to, but I can't mention her, he or /she's name because of confidentiality. Right, in the day, you got reality, which is true, which is what we're trying to talk about more. Reality is what you're getting, right? Fiction is based upon what Audrey wrote on the reality. So when all he had to do to make sure you don't find out where the real location of the eye of Sodor is, well, if you think it's between the Isle of Man and England where it should have been, and oh, it's upside down in Norfolk. Why? Why? Because there's so much of the old railway routes of the Midland and Great Northern and the Great Eastern that tally up a lot more than what you expected. And then you're saying, what? You know, I said, yeah, well, why don't you do some homework? Why? It's reality of the same thing. It's the same route. No Angels has never left a building, right? Never left the island, never left to go to the island, as examples you would call it. I said half the facts are bullshit to a point unless you get the facts correctly done. Why? Christopher Audrey, knew the major ancient facts, but not the island. Why? Because he was standing on it. Near enough. Why? Audrey knew about this. Reverend Mother Audrey said, we have to keep that a secret, trade secret, but we have let Stephen Topham Hatt reveal it. Because in the day, he's going to be in a sticky situation he can't get out of. Why? He knew about Lexi, Hurricane, and Merlin, and all the other fuckers up there, excuse my language, and it adds up. It's reality of the fiction, and all the fiction was done ahead of schedule too much. What happens now? You've got Britt Orcroft that did all the hard work. I'm a praiser for it, but then at the end of the day, it's becoming reality because it's done. It's done ahead of schedule for me to slow myself down. So when it's unfolding in front of you, eyes and ears, this is why it goes to the best key. It's not about talk, 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 talk. It's about watching and seeing. It's a bit of hearing as well on top, which calculates everything, makes sure everything falls into place correctly. We don't want a big bombshell in the end, right? So with all this reality, Now everything is trying to catch up with you. Right? The past, the present, and the future. The future's already been written for you. All you have to do is unfold it correctly. But when it comes to the past, it's catching up with you. Why? Because I'm here, safeguarded, to protect you. Right? That's part one. Two. Why do you think I know so bloody much? I'm too really useful. I'm not a bullshitter, number one. Number two, I'm not myth. Obviously, we'll talk about myths later. But I'm telling you now, reality and fiction are one and the same. Right? So even if Audrey wrote the Iron Sodor in a way you can't imagine it, I said, where's all the steamies? Where are all the rest of the engines that we all come and know and love? I said they're real life people. You can't disrespect them. That's against the law. You've thrown them out of their own premises, for example. That's another throw out. Why you? I don't. Any day, this is why it calls reality. Usually, when it was already started off as fiction, during the 1934, 1935, then 1936 was a good starting point. Boom, 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 go forward, forward, forward. Then the plan automatically started. Why? So when my grandfather was in charge, Sir Topham the first, he made sure the history doesn't repeat itself. So that it is reality, not fiction. It's hard for you as it is for everybody else. So everybody's moving forward, 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 and then everybody's saying, what's the difference between reality and fiction? Let me give you another head up, right? Fiction is something that isn't completely reality yet, but it will come unfoldedly in reality. Why? Because it's all true. You know what will happen is it will catch up with you. Right? I know it's a long time, right? But I'm telling you the facts. Reality comes first of any plain eyesight. So if anybody asks, why is reality part one? Why is the fiction part two? And it goes back to reality part three. Ding, 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 ding. Because it's already been partly added into the future. Correct. But why? Richard Topham Hatt is the next one on the line. Then it'd be my granddaughter, Emily Helen Hatt. So I can't lie to you on that. Then, then it goes into Adam Taylor, bumps your uncle. Right, you can't complain on that because I know exactly what's meant to unfold. Right, in those days, no more screw ups, no more mouth offs, no more kicking outs, no more ass wiping. Right, I'm watching. Right, I get it. When it goes to reality, reality comes first before the fiction. Then it goes back into fiction, into reality because it goes realistic. Because every generation has to go cycling all the way through this. Every generation. This is not a game. It's like when we talk about reality, right? There are clues everywhere for adults, not just for kids. But the kids may work it out faster than the locomotives, but they can't say nothing, safeguarding themselves. So when it all unfolds naturally, you see reality and fiction combined as one. Right? Then we become legends. We are more powerful than a copyright. We are more powerful than anything can stand for. Right? I get it. A lot of people are afraid of me. A little bit. Here and there. Right? I get not many people get understand what's the difference between reality and fiction. I said they are connected as a one, as a whole, for one reason. Right? A lot of railway routes that used to be in Norfolk, as you know, flip it upside down and then look at it. Then you'd be saying, "Oh fuck." Yeah, which is true, excuse my language. But the thing is, then you realise it's reality. But then you've got to piece it all together. Reality comes first before fiction. Then fiction becomes reality again because it goes through all the legends, all the past people like Sir Topham the first and Charles Topham the second, and then Sir Topham the senior. Bygones, obviously, we're not going back as far as that, but it gets the facts straight. Right? I'm not going to BS with you. left, right, or centre. I've been honest with you. When the reality comes in, then you're asking about the fiction. Now let's talk about fiction. Usually, a lot of fiction out there, which is true, is based upon reality, people's experiences, everything on top, but with blood related to the core. You can't just destroy something that is reality. Why did we go back to that again, you see? Because it's like saying something had to come from reality first. Why people knock down forests, which they shouldn't done. Why the Mr. What you call it? What you call him? There was like people complained about forests being knocked down and everything else. I said, don't do that because that's dangerous. Right? Big mistake strike one. Right? Because people know things. They're telling you, they're being honest with you, and being straightforward with you. Right? Reality comes first above all else. Now, why do you think we have to repeat a lot of patterns? I've got two more generations of my family to think about. They come number one in my book right now. Nothing else. Why? Because it has to play out. Reality of the fiction you cannot destroy because it's based on one and the same. Right? When it comes to us, we are legends. Right? There's a lot of people that do Doctor Who and all the other shows as well. I'm not going to lie, bullshit on that. They are legends because they are meant to be. Like, let's take Jason David Frank, the late Jason David Frank, the Power Ranger we love adored. Right? He's legend, but his daughter is extra legend. So you can't destroy her because she's legendary. So what happens? You see what you're getting is reality of the fiction as well as legends. Now, when we passed away, or pass away as they say, we become myth because everybody totally forgets after 30 years. Why? Because once it's done and dusted, people start asking questions, which they are doing right now through NHS or NSFT or any department. Then they start saying, "Oh, that's myth. Where's the flaming proof?" Well, I'm giving you the proof. Reality comes first before the fiction side. Then it goes back to reality because we have to fill in the gaps for you. Right? Then become legends again. Then we become myths. Why? Because it's all like a stretch of timeline. Right? You see, when people know the hats exist for a reason, we exist for that bloody damn reason because we're being honest with you. Reality, fiction, legends, and myths are bloody true story. I want bullshit. Right? When people try and do what needs to be corrected, time and this time span we got left or whatever needs to be done, I said we've got to fix this right now, here and now. This is not a laughing joke. For a lot of people that know about this, and I said, watch your step because it's all reality. Right? You're trying to do something that could be damaging, accusing people. They are the opposite. Right? A lot of people don't have the time to read books. I get it. Or not understand what's unfolded. People see it with their own eyes and ears. Trust. Trust, honesty, and respect comes with a long way on this. Right? The Norfolk Railway screwed up. Their reality is their screw up because they couldn't put the fiction to reality, and then they become legends as well because they come out of that station and they become legends. Why? My porters, my guards, and my employees and employers on top. Boom, boom. So then it becomes reality because it's reality job. So you got me, obviously reality, not fiction, because me continuing it. Fiction is what people are knowing of. Why? I get that. Then the people that are in reality of it, they become legends. Legends are the key element. Now we're going to talk about legends. How does legends exist? Without reality and fiction, they don't exist. Right? We get that. But the legends also come from different TV shows, programs, etc. Even actors become legends because they've been in it for a long time or whatever. Right? Then They become myth because they no longer exist, or they passed away and they're gone and buried and all that. Then people start asking that. Let me give you an example, right? I had a friend called One Ivet, right? Based in Cromer, / Knapford, right? He passed away, but he was in Harry Potter. Ronald Weasley, right on a tea bag. He became his reality from fiction to reality, and then he became legend. Then now he's myth because he's passed away. Right? Ron Iver is no ordinary person. Right? Ronald Weasley and myself connected. Why? Because with Thomas the Tank connected and Harry Potter connected. Ding ding. From fiction to reality. Reality to fiction. Vice versa, bouncing left, right, and centre. People can't work it out. I said I'm giving you all the information you need. Then we become legends because we are legendary people, legendary figures don't often come in our towns or countries or UK or Australia or the United States of America or European or any part of the country. People are legendary for a reason, right? I get there are a lot of questions on your mind that want answering, but I'm not going to give out our family trade secrets because we can't. So you got your reality, you got your fiction, and you got your legends. Now, if you keep destroying us, the legends, that destroying us, that is your fault. You lose your money, you lose your job, and you're out. Why? Because it's called killing, and it's not worth it. If you killed a member of the Hatt family, you're going to prison, as example. Anyone that's connected to the Harry Potter series, and you killed them, you go to prison. Why? Because it's reality of the real thing. So when you see it unfold in front of you, then you're asking the biggest question: how can a reality starts off as reality, as it does, then it becomes fiction because somebody wrote the past, the present, and the future of us. Then we become reality because no one put the pieces together. Then we become legends because we're legendary. Then the legendaries, like myself, will end up passing the buck, helping you out, trying to solve you all out, correct you all out, solve the mystery. It's like saying solving the mystery, but I'm trying to do it in drips and drabs so I don't have to rush my head around. Right, but it's all truly in black and white. Like I said, people are picking up on these things. StreamYard, YouTube, Google, they're all picking up on it. Why? Because it's reality. Right, so we are legends right now. We're not fiction. We never have been. The only problem is we've been in hiding for so long and keeping our identities a secret to a point. When we are needed the most, we come and reveal ourselves and knock you right out of your place and put yourselves back on track. Right, I don't expect myself in general to be booted out of a railway station as example. That's reality, but it's also that you just kicked out somebody you need, not a wanty. So everybody's saying, look, oh fuck. The legendary, we are legendaries. There's a lot of people. Then we become myth in the near future because we got our own set of generations to deal with. Two more to be exactly, excuse my French, two more. Right? And I'm being polite as I can. Right? It starts off reality, then it gets into fiction, then it goes back into reality because personalities and storytelling and our experiences and everything else becomes legendary as it goes forward. So then at the end of the day, you're getting what you need, but then you're asking yourself the biggest question. I told you, I warned you, and I'm showing you, and I'm also telling you. Right, reality, fiction, and legends are myths. Myths are the last one on the list that I'm going to talk about. I said after you go through reality, fiction, then go back to reality, then go to legend mode, then that's it. You got what you need, but now you've got to put the other half off me. There's two halves of me. When I'm saying two halves, I mean you've got somebody that has to connect with me to bring in the fourth generation and the fifth generation of the hats. So you've got to be realistic. So it's going to turn into reality because it has to add up. The connections have to add up. People, why my support angels of the past kept the secret away from you, but you pushed your luck so damn bloody far because you want. I said it's a needy, yes, I get that, but not everyone is seeing it as a need. They're seeing it as a want. I said if you do that, you're screwed up. Right? So in the day, it started off in reality. Why do you think there's 2,000 engines being destroyed by Dr. Beeching himself? Then it all adds up in your head. Oh, fuck. Yeah, my grandfather witnessed that, Sir Topham at the first. He witnessed that. So when it all tells you in truth, then you're asking the biggest question of all time. If that's all reality, that means it's in the book as well, fiction as well, reality. Because it goes into me, makes me reality, legendary and all, and then you're asking the biggest question that you're trying to get rid of me. Big mistake, because you'll be dead and gone, and you'll be wanting to go in prison because you're trying to kill me off. That's not funny on my. That's not funny on my part because I've been realistic with you. I know what's ahead of me, but I'm not at liberty to give out identities except Adam Taylor because he's the last one on the list from Emily Helen Hatt. So that's my granddaughter, but that's her son. Ding ding. So when you got reality and fiction, they are linked at the hip. Why? Because we then the fiction and reality combine together, circulates, and then reality comes in. Then we become legends because we hold what needs to be said and done in every angle, in every direction. So don't piss us about when you know that it's reality, not fiction. Because when you read those books and read the stories and everything else, it doesn't matter where you get your stories from, something will connect you to that. Why? Because family protects family. Doesn't matter where I go or where you go, I'll always find out. Why? Because it's all buy in a bookstore or anything. It's all connected. We all in a great circle of life, as they call it in layman's terms, the Lion King direction. But then you got to really be realistic. You see, it starts off as reality, then fiction, then reality, then we are legends. And then the legends become myths in the future. Why? Because we are actually telling the truth. We've always been honest. And we always put ourselves and tell you, there you go, don't screw up. Because I'll always find out somewhere down the line. You don't expect to screw this up because it's all reality. Reality of the fiction, and all of that. We are legends, yes, but then you become myths in the future because after 30 years or 20 years, you totally forget and pretend that we don't exist. I said we do exist for obvious reasons. And we're not bullshitting you, and we will never lie against you. And it makes you wonder why. I said, why? Reality has to start off with reality, obviously, before it goes into fiction, then it goes into reality. But Audrey makes sure it's reality because he's already continued it before I was born and my mother was born and everything else, and it all adds up. By the time you got to me, boom, boom, I'm now experiencing everything. Right? I don't need to be in one place or two places, I would say, and it all adds up. So you got your reality. It starts off as reality because it has to start somewhere. Right? Then it becomes fiction to a point. But what's happening in that book, or any type of book that's fiction, there always be some points across of reality because there has to be a certain point across the line. Right? But what people didn't expect that everybody said the island Sodor doesn't exist. Tip Norfolk upside down and you look at the roots because it's all there black and white and damn white. My family's already aware of it, so am I. The only problem is Dr. Beecham killed it off. So don't blame me, number one. Number two, that you don't want to hurt me and you don't want to kill me because you go to prison. So it tells you exactly why I know so much about you because there's so much detail involved in one book. One book carries all the facts, all the proof, all the logic, all the truth that I'm providing you, and it's all reality, not fiction. It has every generation in there to a point, right up to 5 generations in there. You want to screw up everything? I tell you now, if you screw that up, goodbye everything because you don't want that. I know I don't want it, nor does my mother, nor does nor does my steam team, because we know what we're doing. We're just fixing everything up for you, correcting everything, passing the buck, information, details, right? In the day, you're getting from reality, fiction, then we become legends, then we become myths. That's it. But you got to do it 5 bloody times. So just think about it. You got my son and my granddaughter. Then my granddaughter marries a tailor. Then it goes down to Adam Taylor. So there you go, in black and white. You can't argue what I just stated because it's in black and white. Number one. Number two, it's real life. You can't fuck with that, excuse my language. Then it's all true facts and all in one go. I said you can't argue with it. But like I said, when people understand it a little bit clearly, they will understand why we're going to become myths in the future. Did you ever know that myths has a little clue in the puzzle piece? Right, myths, as an example, has an anagram of its own. But for safeguard reasons, it's stating to you Lily, Margaret, obviously, then Stephen, Topham, Hatt. Ding ding. Myths has an anagram of its own. So it tells you the truth, even legends. Everybody has a piece of anagram in it. And if you can't see that, why do you think the National Health Service is another one? You know, that's another anagram. You got you got myself, Stephen Hatt, obviously is what I used to be called. Then it goes straightly into my wife, obviously. Then I become Stephen Topham Hatt when I was 37. Now I'm 40. Then you got me on a silver platter, Stephen Topham Hatt the third at your service. So you can't argue with that because it's reality, not fiction. So it's just carrying on. So every time you've seen unfold, don't say that I warned you. Because I told you. I warned you, told you, and I've shown you. There's more to come, don't get me wrong. But be patient. Thank you very much. In every angle.